this is Valeria, is that correct? And you're going to talk about tools for successful innovation projects.
Yes, that's right.
Excellent, thank you. The platform is yours.
All right, thank you very much. So do you see my screen now?
Yes, we do.
All right, perfect. So what leads and drags the world are not machines, but ideas. This is something Victor Hugo, a French poet and writer, once said, and that can be easily brought to our current reality since everything now is ruled by the fresh ideas. Hello, my name is Valeria Gaona Flores. I'm a mechatronics engineering student at Tecnológico de Monterrey, Campus Morelia, Mexico. And along my major, I've been through several project developments. So that's why today I'm here to tell you a series of 9 simple tools to make innovation process easier and of course with better results. The most important aspect that we have to keep in mind is that no matter how amazing our product is, it always has a need to satisfy. So this is why the first tool that I want to give you is understanding of the customer needs. We have a set of steps for doing this. The first one is to get all the source data from the customers. This can be done by doing interviews, focus groups, product usage, monitoring, and of course it is very important to document everything that your customer does during these interviews or focus groups, because that can give you a lot of information. The step number 2 is to interpret the source data in terms of the needs. You have to express every need in terms of what the product is going to do. Use it as an attribute. Of course, you have to be specific, use only affirmative sentence, and avoid using should or have to. In the step number 3, you have to organize your needs into a hierarchy. In this step, you have to write every need in a card or a post-it, that's a recommendation, so you can see them more clearly and you can delete iterating phrases, you could double check the sentences and edit them if it is necessary. The main purpose of this is that you can group the cards according to the similarity of needs. In the next step, you establish a relative importance level for the needs. Here you have to use a quantitative scale. You can establish this importance by the team criteria, or maybe you can do it by detailed customer studies. You can use both techniques or just one. It is completely up to you and what you want to do. In the step number 5, of course, you have to do a reflection of the process and the obtained results. You have to question yourselves if you have interacted with all the important customers, if you identified a new need throughout the process, maybe if it will be convenient to consider maybe new customers. And of course, you have to see what is the new information that you have after all the process that you made. All right, so now that you identified your needs, it is time to define some specifications for your product. For this, we're going to use the tool that is named the House of Quality that looks exactly like a house. In these figures, in the number 1, you're going to write who is going to be the user of your product. In the number 2, you're going to write the set of needs that you already established. In the number 3, you're going to write the relative importance given to each one of the needs. In the number 4, you will have to do some research and find the current options that could be competing with your product and how are they related to the needs that you identify. The number 5 is technical specifications. Here, you have to use some metrics and some numbers in order to be very specific in the technical aspects of your product. In the number 6, you're gonna establish a relationship between the specifications and the need. This relation has to be numeric, by 9 being the most related. The number 7, you have to establish a set of boundaries for the performance of the product, establishing which is going to be like the best performance of your product and what could be like the lowest performance of your product. Now that you have specifications and needs, it is time to generate some concepts. In the step 1 of the generation of concepts, you would have to clarify the problem. You would use a function block diagram, which is like the one you can see in the picture. This will help you to organize the functions in different pieces and, of course, correlate them in the diagram. You have to observe the raw material, processed material, energy, and signals that are interacting in your product so you can understand better how is it going to work. In the step number 2, you will have to do a systematic exploration. For that, you're going to use a morphological matrix. You're going to write all the functions that your product has to do and all the options that you have to make that function happen. At the end of this process, what you're going to do is choose one option for each function, and that's how you are going to create a concept. It's like all these objects grouped together. So now that you have all the options, you would like to see how your product is actually going to look. For that, we're gonna decide the architecture of the product following 3 simple steps. The first one is to check your block function diagram that you already did. The step number 2 is going to be to group all the different diagram elements into chunks, so you can relate them by similarity or other criteria that your design group would like to use. Finally, in the step 3, you're going to take all those chunks together and you're going to create and approximate geometry for it. Now that you created some ideas, you have concepts and architectures, you're going to select one or more of them. For this, you are going to follow these steps. The first one is to create a decision matrix. This decision matrix is going to compare the options that you have between them, so you can know which one is better from all of them. The second step is to evaluate the concepts. The number 3 is to arrange the concepts. Number 4, you are going to try to combine and improve the concepts. Maybe you can get another one from that combination, and that is completely valid. And the number 5, you're going to select one or more of the concepts that you have. Number 6, now we would like to prove our concept. So for this, we're going to have to define the purpose of the proof, if you want to decide which concept to develop, or if you just want to know the opinion of your target market. The step number 2 is to choose a population sample to survey that, of course, has to match your target market. And the number 3, we're going to select a type of survey. Number 4, it is very important to know how to share the concept, because the thing that you are going to be describing to the people is the one that they are going to give you their opinion about. So you have to be very careful to share all the details. Number 5, you will have to measure the customer's response and, of course, interpret the results to make decisions about your process or your concepts. Number 5, now that you have like a valid decision for your concept, you would like to do some prototypes. There are 2 dimensions of prototypes. It's physical versus analytic and integral versus focused. Physical prototypes are better for communicating, and integral prototypes are better for integrating functions because they are more complete. There are 3 useful principles about the prototypes, which are the analytic prototypes are more flexible than the physical ones because you can just directly edit them in your computer. The physical prototypes are used to detect unexpected phenomena that you cannot always expect in your computer or simulate in your computer. A prototype can reduce extensive iterations and make development steps way easier. This is why it is a very important tool. So other tools like Cat3D and other free-form manufacturing technologies can help you to reduce your costs and the time that you require for the creation of the prototypes. A method for creating your prototype could be the first step, define the purpose. The second one, establish the level of approximation of your prototype. The third one, to sketch an experimental plan. And the fourth, to create a calendar for all the construction and testing that you are going to make for your prototype. The number of prototypes are going to be defined in the development plan, and they are key for the process. So number 8, now we would like to do a robust design. Why? Because this is the one that is going to work properly even with external effects or unexpected situations. This method is based on the design of experiments. So we have to identify control factors, maybe noise, and performance metrics. We have to formulate an objective function, develop an experimental plan, and execute the experiment, which is strictly necessary. It is very necessary because you would like to see how your product is going to work with all the unexpected situations. That's why it is very necessary to do experiment. And number 9, design of manufacturing and assembly. This has a purpose of reducing manufacturing costs and improving the quality of the product. First, you have to estimate your manufacturing costs and then reduce the costs for the components, assembly, support. And the last step that is the most important for me is that you have to consider the impact of the previous decisions. You are the one who established your limits. So your product is going to have the same quality that you thought of, and it's going to look exactly like you thought of, but you're going to reduce your costs and your manufacturing process. So I know this was quite a short time for sharing with you guys everything that I wanted to share, but if you have any questions, I'm completely available at my mail, and I will be very happy to answer your questions and of course receive all your comments about my presentation. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was wonderful. I guess I'm live. Yes. Valeria, I have a question. In doing all these surveys, have you actually done this? Have you discovered anything that isn't actually on the paper?
Actually, I am currently doing all these steps and using all these tools because at school I have my team and we are actually developing a product following exactly these steps. So maybe something that I have discovered is that sometimes you don't have like the same order that you had in your mind, that maybe you customers and then try to do the concept. So, you know, the order can like not be always the same. That's why I present it as tools, not like strictly steps. So yeah, I'm living all this process right now. I am doing all the steps right now. So yeah, I'm learning a lot, and I think that will be like one of the most important things that I've learned.
Wow, that was very good. You have a lot of fans on YouTube who've sent you a lot of nice messages.
Oh.
Also, congratulations. So,
thank you very much.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And
thank you guys.
People have your email, and once again, you covered a lot of material that people are going to want to look at and think about in more detail. This is being recorded. It'll be up on YouTube at some time later, and people can then watch it 100 times. I'm sure some people will. Thank you very much, Valeria.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.